It's the Full Force News Burst, proudly brought to you by Battle Action Force, the Treasury editions. I am your host, Christopher McLeod, AKA Diagnostic 80. Now let's get into the news. Hello and welcome and good evening and all those good words to all of you in the chat already. Hello, lots of you kicking off already. Hello, everyone. Yes, another day, another reveal ahead of New York Comic Con. We had Hit and Run yesterday, and as expected, we had another one today. Although it was getting to a point, wasn't it, where we was getting to a point during the day where I was thinking, oh, I wonder if it'll be every other day. And someone even messaged me that as well. Shout out to whoever messaged me that. Sorry, apologies, I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. A lot of messages today. And then, of course, lo and behold, we get this little cheeky lad, don't we? Imagine if I pulled up the stage 2 version. No, I'm not that ITK. No, here we go. We've got the mole rat, of course, the OG mole rat with his wibbly drill. Anyway, yeah, cool figure, this one. One of my favorites, and they're all there's a lot of favorites in this line, but the mole rat was one that I was very excited when it first dropped. I thought, this is dope. And then when I got it in hand, I was like, yeah, this is a really satisfying figure. It's a really cool new sort of like addition to the lineup. And again, like, I know I've got my gas mask head on because he's in the mines, he's doing some drilling and so on and so forth, so he hasn't actually quite caught the Dark Energon situation going on yet. But we've got another one to look at today, haven't we? Yes. So we've got a couple of things to talk about, including MCM London, 25th of October, and the details for that Hasbro announced. We've got a little bit more detail regarding what is happening on NYCC. And we've got this render to look at, which will be fun as well. So, and unfortunately, this is another one where did not have this one on the list. So we're sort of like unsure as to where this falls in the listings, but hopefully we should have a bit more kind of we should have an idea closer to NYCC. Anyway, should we get on with it? Because there's a lot to get into. Well, there's a bit to get into, and I've got to pull double duty tonight. Double duty with a Patreon episode. So if you're a Patreon subscriber on either Red Shadow Army or SAS, and I'll be speaking to you immediately after this burst. I say immediately, it takes me a few minutes to set up, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, let's get into it. Yars. So the Mole Rat 2 render was revealed today, and we get an extra kind of head, which we will discuss shortly. But first, MCM London. So this email went out to Pulse members. I think to anyone who was basically on it as a Pulse Premium member or on the sort of like, what do you call it, list, the press list. So with that said, as I realized as I posted this right now on the screen, I can't read it because it's so far away on my screen and tiny. I'm going to get it on my phone and read it out. So they are pleased to confirm that Hasbro Pulse will be returning to MCM London Con this October at stand S1300 or S1300 or S1300. Hasbro Pulse will be bringing them with them a portfolio of fan favorite brands, including Transformers, G.I. Joe, as well as products from premier collaboration brands, including Star Wars, TM, and Marvel from Disney Consumer Products. Hasbro's 2025 lineup will be showcased throughout the convention to deliver an epic experience for fans of all ages, with several product reveals and more activities attendees won't want to miss. Fans can also attend the Hasbro brand panel on Saturday, 25th of October, 11:45 a.m., which means that'll be like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 6:45 a.m. for me. Even worse if you're on the West Coast, 3:45 a.m. Good luck catching that or the information from that. You have to wake up to the news of what came out on the 25th of October at the MCM panel. So it's 11:45 to 12:35. It'll be on the Capital stage if you're in London at the time, if you're doing the show and the con. During the panel, Hasbro brand marketing and design members will be sharing a number of exciting product reveals and first looks across its popular fan brands that you won't want to miss. From the screen to the shelf, Transformers is coming in with exciting Age of the Primes. I don't need to know that. Several Hasbro Global team members will be in attendance and will be available for interview opportunities following the panel on the Saturday, the 25th. Please let me know if you'd be interested in scheduling a meeting with any of the below spoke. Well, this is if you're, if you're press. Emily's going to be there. Chris Reif, manager product design Star Wars. Dwight Stahl, Marvel. Evan Brooks, Transformers, and Lenny Panzica, G.I. Joe. So Lenny and Emily, for us really, for us Joe fans, will be there. Anyway, so that's good. That's cool info. And also, just to add on to that, Pythona will be available at the convention as well to purchase. Okay, cool. As well as the Fantastic Four villain Super Skrull from Marvel Legends, Black Series Mace Windu and Darth Sidious, the Vintage Collection Jedi Spirits 3-pack, Transformers Generations Armada Nemesis Prime and Air Defense Minicon team, and of course, Cobra La Pythona. There you go. So that's that info for MCM London. Who else gonna be there? Who else gonna be? I would have been there had I been out in the UK at that time, because I never missed an MCM. They were friggin' phenomenal. MCM's a great show, by the way. And if it's at the big event center, I forget what it's called now. The one that's near, is it like Waterside or something like that? I forget what it's called now. It's massive though. Just goes on for absolute miles. And then there's like the water next to it. And then on the other side of the water, there's it looks like a big villain hideout, but it's like an abandoned factory or something. And it looks like the Joker's hideout or something. It's insane. But it's a really cool event space. It's massive. It's literally like, it's like a 20-minute walk from one end length to the other, Kitty said. It's so crazy. It's massive. And it's like two sides. There's a big sort of like massive hallway down the middle, kind of open space hallway where all the food and everything is down the middle part. And then you go into like the side sections, and that's where the big event spaces are for everything. It's massive. So MCM is a great one. I used to love it. Absolutely love it. Shout out MCM Comic Con London. So that's that. Now, this popped up. Yeah, the Mole Rat Stage 2 popped up with the following blurb. He says, not having it ready to go. Well, I mean, am I ever prepared for this stuff? Do I just go live and then just wing most of it? Yes. So the G.I. Joe socials posted the following. Did you have this one on your bingo card? Question mark and big eyes. The Dark Energon corruption spreads and now the Mole Rats evolve. Here's your first look at Mole Rat Stage 2. I quite like that as a name for it, as opposed to like version 2 or, whatever. Catch the G.I. Joe team in North Room 406.3. Still sounds like a radio station at 11 a.m. on Friday, October the 10th during New York Comic Con for the latest news and reveals. And of course, I should also say that they will be following that panel at 12 with a kind of fan stream, a live fan stream. So there you go. Now, a couple of things to mention before we move on. What do we know about this particular figure? We know that it's mainline. Okay. It's not an exclusive. It's not like Walmart again with a kind of Night Force kind of theme, which is what this cheeky chap was. This will be a mainline release. Okay, cool. Now, what else do we know about it? I think that's it. We don't know what the listing is, but it's going to be one of those mainline listings that are unknown at the moment on our big 2026 list. Comes with the same loadout, bar a default head, by the looks of it, a new default head. The previous one only came with the gas mask head and the kind of the head that you see there, the alt head on the right hand side originally. And then this one has kind of got this next phase of Energon taking over it, or Dark Energon, I should say, which has completely ruined the dude's head. And you can see a bit like it's gone basically skull, hasn't it? Basically. So there you go. It's not Walmart. I just said that, James. Where were you? It is a mainline release. So It will probably be the fourth figure in the next wave bias. Yeah, I would imagine so. Based on what they're doing and how they've revealed stuff in the past, yeah, I would imagine so. Ray Murphy says color scheme very similar to the Cobra Bug. I was going to say that actually. Yeah, it's very similar to the Bug. I wonder if that has kind of aided in this particular deco. Pretty cool though, and I will say I do love the deco on this one. I do love the figure anyway. I think the figure in general is really cool. So a redeco of it is well, accepted from my end. And also, I only got one. I never got like an army of these buggers, so I can't like display one with the crazy alt head, unfortunately. In any case, yes, this is what we end up with. So, just to break it down a little bit, did I not? I thought I zoomed in on the head. Have I not done that? I did. It's there. So here is the new head. Like as you can see, it's mainly skull at this point, with those huge kind of like dark energon crystals kind of just pumping straight out. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the crystals in Captives of Cobra. I almost said Oda Cobra because the VHS that I had was those particular, no, 2 episodes, like 3 episodes, isn't it? It was Oda Cobra, Captives of Cobra. Captives of Cobra was like a 2-parter. So, yeah. Hunter says, what is the role of a mole rat? Well, a mole rat, from the previous release, they were basically kind of like, sort of like mining dark energon. And this was happening in a certain like narrative with the Night Force kind of figures, and kind of it's a little bit in the blurb and all that kind of stuff, but there isn't like anything that backs this up. But effectively, the kind of like Hasbro narrative is that these guys have just been infected by the dark energon that they're mining, so they're just kind of like standard kind of Cobra grunts, really. Probably not too kind of military verse, so they're probably just dumped in this mining situation, just what Cobra like. And so in mining for this energon, they have been infected by it, and thus you get these sort of like zombie sort of messed up kind of creatures at the end of the day. So that's effectively what that is. And then this particular version 2 or stage 2 mole rat is effectively like the next level up, like the next level of the infection is taking over, basically. Cobra mining troopers, yes, basically. So they were basically mining dark energon for Destro, I believe, was the actual deep dive information. Yeah, cool. So anyway, as I was saying, got some more close-ups of the rest of the figure as well. So here we can see the body, which again is it's the exact same figure, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there's no changes. What they have done though is they've changed the little tampo on that little thing on his chest. So if you look on this one, it's just like a couple of circles, like a target. It's like a Target logo, even though he was in Walmart, which I find actually that's quite ironic. And then he's got like a little readout just above that, kind of like little neon readout there as well, which doesn't really, I don't think it says anything unless I think it's just dots. There's a little bit of like textured dots on there, but don't think it says anything necessarily. And on that one, they have done almost like a heartbeat monitor thing, which is kind of cool. So that's a nice little change up. And like I said, the deco is really, really tight on this one with that kind of neon green, and then that kind of like more kind of subdued green. Yeah, very Cobra Bug like. And they're the legs as well. Exactly the same figure, just redecoed with this extra head, which is kind of fun. There you go. That is that. Now we've already looked at this head. I'd like to see this one in hand. At some point, is it just going to be one giant crystal? It's just going to be like that big. What does it remind me of? It reminds me of a Mighty Boosh character, but I can't remember which one. Why does this remind me of the Mighty Boosh? If anyone doesn't understand what that is, then I can't help you. I'm sorry. This drove demand of version 1 to finally sell out, says Jeremy. Carlos says mall rats talk smack about middle-aged dad bod men who go to malls looking for toys. I like it. That's Mallrats, though. Jordan, yeah, shout out to Mallrats, the movie. Yeah, of course. Renard says it would have been better if he did not have the same gear pretty much. I pick up 5 of the first one. What would you, just out of interest, what would you have given him? What kind of stuff would you have upgraded him with? Because I'm like, I always like the thought of what could, yeah, like with a redeco or yeah, like a different figure version, what kind of accessories would make sense for a character like this? Because it's always interesting to think about that. I would, because obviously the backpack's pretty much going to be there. The Geiger counter makes sense, although I suppose at the point where it's at stage 2 and it's completely taken over them, and they're like this kind of like zombified, hideous skeleton creature, they're probably not going to have any blooming accessories, are they? They're just going to be walking around like an absolute, meth head, basically. Is it old Greg that I'm thinking of, guys? I don't know if it's old Greg. Did I ever drink Baileys from a shoe? No. Yes, I've never done that. Could have had crystals coming out of the chest or on arms. Yeah, that's true, actually, Johnny. They could have gone a little bit. They could have gone a little bit further with the rest of the figure. Like it could have been, yeah, we're going to retool what we have, and yeah, just have a bunch of like, what's the word? Crystals kind of coming out of like the chest and the back and the arms and stuff. That actually would have been pretty cool, to be fair. I'll give you that. Or giving it a secondary that went over that did that kind of, affected that, gave that similar effect. Renard says an axe, big stick, crazy hand. Yeah, all of those are good shouts. Like more basic things that they just pick up along the way, sort of thing. But yeah, like messed up kind of. Well, you know how like I know Pythona's hand is not what I thought it was initially. It's not a mutated hand, but like something like that, like a mutated hand with like maybe a couple of gross little crystals poking out of it would have made some sense. Yeah, for sure. It would be cool to get some separate dark energon crystals, says Robert H. I agree with that too. When is stage 3 coming? Or probably a couple of years' time, I imagine. Paul says a pile of energon crystals would be cool. You made like blast effects from scrap iron, just purple translucent crystals. That'd be kind of cool, yeah. Purple haze viper, says Joe. Brilliant. Is this the skull Easter egg from the Snowcat at SDCC? No, it's not. Jeremy says alt zombie hands and snap-on crystals would have been, yeah, absolutely. Plug-in crystals, maybe, says the Hunter. That's another good shout. R Sharp, Roger, hi. He says, I ordered a bunch of cheap crystals off of AliExpress to decorate a diorama someday in anticipation of them doing more with Dark Energon. And here you are, mate. You had the last laugh, didn't you? Renard said, yes, if he was more crystals all over the body, yeah, I would have bought them in a heartbeat. Do crystals glow in the dark? Asked Johnny. They could do, because the previous one glows in the dark, doesn't it? Although I don't have the head currently here, but yeah, that the other head does do a glow in the dark situation, so could be. Scott says this makes me even sadder that the Space Zombies from Mars Kickstarter didn't fund. Yeah, totally. That would have been. This would have made this would have slotted in nicely, wouldn't it? Definitely can't see where he's going. He can't, can he? I bet this whole figure was designed with version 1. They just cut the version 2 sculpt to save money. If you dig it, fine. I'm calling BS. I feel like this is Hasbro giving us patches again. Cheap money for them, says Flaffle. Fair enough. I was really hoping that happened, says. Oh, what? Oh, you're talking about something else. No problem. Oh, you're talking about the Space Zombies thing. Yeah. Version 1 glows in the dark. It does, Ryan. Just the head crystals, I believe. It was one of those ones where I didn't realize until I heard Lenny say it in some sort of conversation. It might have even been an interview, on like in and around the kind of showing of it, and I wasn't aware. They didn't really talk about that very much. It might be in the blurb, I can't remember, but yeah, he said it did, and lo and behold, it does glows in the dark. So I would expect the Dark Energon crystals to do that on this particular figure as well, and for it to be on both the head that we have, this one, redecoed of course, and this one here with the skull in the background. Yeah, anyway, so we get the alt head that we also get with the version 1, and we get the gas mask, and I imagine those little I imagine the eyes would probably glow in the dark as well, considering the color. Don't think they do on this one because they're not the same color as the dark energon crystals in the other one. But this one is sort of like this one's sort of like the probably that orange that glow is happening because he's infected inside. So the crystals are probably coming through, but not as bad. And the mask is kind of like just showing the light of those crystals underneath. That's what I would suggest here. This might glow in the sugar plums. I just dropped the one thing I needed to show. Then there we go. No, I don't think this glows either. But this has got that sort of vibe on it. It's this exactly the same actually as the one that comes with. No, it's purple. The other one. Okay, cool. You got the same backpack, of course. Makes sense, obviously. My original eyes glow on the gas mask ? I don't know. Does it? I think maybe on this one it does. On that one, on the version 1 it doesn't. I don't know actually, because the crystals 100% glow in the dark on the mole rat on the head sculpt. 100%. The bulkier baggy suit would work really well on what? Airtight. I see. Yep, that would make sense. Oh, it does 610. That's cool. Cool. Awesome. So yeah, the same thing will happen on this one. There'll be the eyes, the crystals, and maybe this little bit on the little canister. Maybe that little bit there. But cool. And then we have the rest of the accessories. We have the Geiger counter. I think it's a Geiger counter. Would make sense, wouldn't it? I've said that like a few times, but no, I think it's a Geiger counter. And yeah, could they hold it like that? It's got a little kind of antenna. It's really cute, this thing. And then it's got the the little I say readout, but you can't. There's no tampo on it. It's just all black. It'd been really cool if they put a little tampo on that circular bit on the top. That'd have been really sweet. I don't think they have on that, but there is something. I think it's just showing that it's raised, but it might have a little colored touch on it. I don't know. But there you can see the containment unit on that one is the purple color for the crystals. Lovely stuff. And it also comes with the big drill and the kind of gun piece. And yeah, you can. At least I thought you could. What part can you take off on the drill? It's this end piece, isn't it, usually? Can you take that off? I thought you could. I thought it would pop off and then the gun would go on if you want. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so you take the little drill off the end. Boop. So that is the drill and the handle kind of together. And then you can put like the little gun piece on there as well to make like a longer sort of rifle. Interesting stuff if you care about that sort of thing. But anyway, yeah, so it's effectively more accessories on screen right now than it's showing you because the drill and the handle piece come apart. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on screen as opposed to 4 pieces. There you go. So is that it? Yeah, that is everything. That is the stage 2 mole rat. Now, I saw kind of like a mixed sort of response to this. Now, I dig it. I like crazy colors. I like sort of more mole rat stuff. I also like, new elements to the line. And although this isn't necessarily new because we've already had a mole rat, it's still like a new thing in the kind of brand history. So I do like having those kind of new kind of things brought into the line very often. It's great. I do like weird stuff on here as well, like Cobra Lara dig. I like all of it really. From OG 13 to the Neon 90s, I love all of this stuff. So yeah, so I like the fact that we're getting, and we get another new kind of headpiece here that kind of comes with it. So it's not completely reuse. I mean, it's what in terms of percentages, 95% probably reuse, but you've got an extra thing thrown in for fun, and we know it's mainline, so do with that what you will. And I'm sure we'll be seeing this hit and run. I'll throw a guess out there and say probably Lifeline and probably Night Viper to finish that sort of mainline wave off for pre-order over NYCC, and we'll have to see how it goes. There's going to be a lot of stuff to show off if they're doing this panel on the 10th, sorry, and they're doing another panel on the 25th of October. They're going to be showing more off, so we're going to get like October's going to be crazy. Like I imagine more name owner reveals. I imagine more digital renders, more reveals of stuff, more product, more pre-orders. It is classified is a monster, I would say, an actual monster, like the one we're looking at on screen at the moment. But yeah, sorry, I was saying before, what I noticed online was very much no one's fence sitting here. This is like either pass or or you're in. Like you really like it. It's one of those things where I think people really love it or they really hate it. This is the Marmite of, and that's only going to make sense, I think, to Australians and British people. This is I might be giving the Americans a little bit less, respect there than I should. But you know what I mean. This is one of the love it or hate it scenarios of the G.I. Joe Classified series. I don't think the first Mole Rat was, but I do think this one was. I think the first Mole Rat was very well received from what I could tell anyway. I personally thought it was an amazing figure. I think this is an amazing figure. I think it's a really cool deco. Lovely homage there to certain figures in the past. Was it the Volcano Viper that had this deco? One of those. It was one of those sort of color schemes, wasn't it? That was in like the sort of like 4-inch modern era. By the by, but yeah, and I think this one is a little bit. I think because what a lot of people said in the comments, I think because it doesn't it's like a redeco, and that can often be that can often be a really almost like immediate habit response from a lot of people to just be like, oh, redeco. Do you know what I mean? Like it seems to me like it's pretty clear and obvious you get redecos. It happens. And I'd rather have a Mole Rat redeco than most other things, I would have to say, in this particular situation. That said, it was definitely, from what I could tell from the comments, either a love it or hate it situation. So this one will probably be one of those things where there'll be a lot of vocal hate about it and it will sell out. It will be the one that sells out after all the hate thrown at it. Most likely. I'm just going to go out on the limb and say that. I could be wrong. I have been wrong in the past with my judgment on some of these figures. But yeah, for the most part, I think this will be this is a cool little addition to the wave and the line, and I'm happy to get another Mole Rat. Mark says, "Hey Chris, I'm late again. Please don't unsubscribe me, but it looks kind of a clown." I'm not going to unsubscribe you for having an opinion. I'm only kick people off if they are D-bags and directly personal. It's got nothing. Like, if you have an opinion that's different to mine, I have no problem with that at all. And I would say I'm pretty clear about, if you have a different opinion, I don't think you're wrong. I just think my personal preference is different. If you have a different opinion about a fact, that's something different. But I would say, for the most part, I'm not going to say just because I disagree with you that I'm going to cut you out of the show. I'm not going to do that. Who is D Bags? Says Rancid Dragon Productions. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Always appreciate a who is situation. Inhumanoids incoming, says Chris G. That would be phenomenal. Josh F says all the figures look excellent once they show the figures. I like the contrast between the pink crystals and the day glow green. Me too, actually, Josh. I think this will be one of those things as well. Yeah, I think seeing it in person is going to help a lot of people. I don't think Crystal Ball and Ghost Viper have anything to do with Dark Energon. Correct, Jason, they do not. That is dire technology. Dark Energon is just a Transformers crossover sort of situation. So far, we've only seen Dark Energon with the mole rats. We've seen it with Night Force, but we haven't seen other characters having to deal with it or have any like other associated sort of accessories or anything like that. For the most part, it's been on maybe like their packaging artwork or render artwork. I think Tunnel Rat may have been a bit of Dark Energon showing off on his, and then a couple like in and around that cave opening where there was like, there was some crystals coming out of the water, weren't there, in like Range Viper's box art? You know what I mean? Like it's not necessarily, it's only the mole rat that's really had a direct sort of narrative with the Dark Energon, I would say, and Night Force to a much to a degree, because that's what this is. It was in that the first version anyway. It is a barbecue, 2 again, but worst. You could have done one of the others army builders, says Renard. I'm not sure what that means. Robert says, so Mole Rat is the army builder of the next wave. Are we about to do back-to-back waves with 3 Joes and 1 army builder, says Robert. No, I think it'll be Night Viper, right? I think it'll be Hit and Run, Lifeline, Night Viper, Mole Rat. And then you've got a Night Viper and a Mole Rat in the same wave, which is 2 army builders technically. But that would be my guess. I could be wrong. We'll have to see, won't we? Because I think we're going to have multiple renders this week. Probably have another one tomorrow. Probably another one Thursday. Probably another one Friday. Or maybe they stop on Thursday. Maybe it's just I don't know. Yeah, because it'll be like what, mainline 4, maybe a deluxe, maybe a figure pet or something. I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, we'll have to see how the week progresses, and then following that, see how the lead up to NYCC and then NYCC itself progresses, before we kind of see what the situation is. But my guess right now would probably be Lifeline, Hit and Run, Mole Rat, Night Viper. Probably, I'm saying, because obviously you've got Big Lob in there. Kitty said. You've got, I mean, I don't think Iceberg will be in that yet. I think he's one further out, but they kind of mentioned him because of the Snowcat. And then you got Taurus and Red Dog as a 2-pack. Maybe they could get like a render reveal this week. There's the unknown vehicle situation, Rancid. Yeah, which we'll talk about that next, shall we? So I'll just skim through these again. Hasbro Pulse, of course, will be doing a fan stream after their panel. So the panel is at 11 a.m. at New York Comic Con, which, if we'll be lucky if someone's like streaming it or putting out information as it comes out. But then at 12 they will come out of that panel and they will do a fan stream covering what has just happened in that panel for the G.I. Joe, Transformers and Ghostbusters brands. So that said, what else was I going to say? Yes, this was the additional bit of information that popped up. Well, it's actually been out for a while, this information, but I highlighted it today because we got emails through regarding what was happening at NYCC. And in that email, it said this about the Hasbro toy panel for the action brands. The panel will also introduce new additions to the G.I. Joe Classified series with a first look at a covert new vehicle designed for icy terrain. Now, they've already talked about the Arctic Hiss Tank, the Arctic Saw Vipers, the Arctic Stinger. Obviously, you could maybe throw in like Cobra Commander, Destro, Baroness, have all sort of like tangentially been in and around that sort of like hinty wink wink nod nod wink wink scenario at the end of the Snowcat video, right? Which also Emily backed up by saying pay attention to what's in that video and you might know what's coming in the future. So that said, I think we can all assume that an Arctic Hiss Tank is coming. And I would probably suggest that's probably what we're looking at here. Now, I know there's another element to it. They're saying covert new vehicle. That does intimate, that does make it sound like it won't be something we've already had. But I'm just saying this now. I would be surprised if it wasn't an Arctic Hiss Tank that we're seeing over that weekend. Not to say that we don't see multiple things. Maybe we'll see, multiple vehicles shown off. Who knows? But I just think, we'll this is one of those we'll have to wait and see sort of scenarios, I think. But the speculation is going to be there, and I guess we'll find out over that weekend. A few people have said, is it the Polar Battle Bear? Could be. That's like a covert new vehicle for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I would suggest you probably follow what has already been revealed as as a big sort of guide for this one, and they have very, very much pointed directly at a number of things. So who knows? It does say new vehicle there, covert and new. So that is something that is very interesting in that particular use of the words, I would say. So I would also maybe, it could be something else. But I would also expect to see an Arctic Hiss tank over that weekend. I just would. Right then. That is pretty much that, I want to say. Was there any more? Oh yeah. If you are going to New York Comic Con, go get tickets for the Cold Slither Live. They'll be at the Gramercy on October the 11th. And the first 100 through the door get a free exclusive I Cobra New York t-shirt. I always love it when they do the I Love New York kind of homages, because it's always going to make no sense. It's always going to make no sense unless the icon they use is, I something New York. Like, do you know what I mean? Like in this case, it's I Cobra New York. What the hell does that mean? I love it. And I love the idea. And it's a great little freebie to throw out for people, especially the first 100. But come on, that's hilarious. Anyway, sounds like my wallet is in jeopardy, says Mark. Yes, indeed. Blitz says Arctic camo. Okay. I've missed some context there, I think. Flaffle says Arctic Hiss is not lazy. People didn't get an HasLab Hiss. This may be a different opportunity. I don't think it's lazy, especially if they do what I think they're going to do with it. If they do different weapon system, really cool deco, not just all white, but just a nice, some sort of like updated cool deco with it, and you get a dope like driver with it. Like I think it'd be really cool. But yeah, I wouldn't say that's lazy. Lazy is probably the opposite I would use for an Arctic Hiss, honestly, actually, in that sense. Also, for the same thing, if it was a Eco Warriors septic tank, like that would be the opposite of lazy, but I don't know. Funny how you make believe trying to figure out the vehicle when you actually know what it is and you can't say it. Well, I know some information, but I don't know what they're going to reveal over NYCC. So, Luke, I get that you think I'm trying to do like a funny sort of like smoke and mirrors thing, but I genuinely don't know what they're revealing over NYCC yet. Hopefully I will close to the time, but at the moment, up in the air. I didn't know anything about this mole rat, and I'll prove it by showing you the listings coming up, because obviously 2025 still as is, as you were, people. Chairface, not a clue. It's driving me mad, but I am still absolutely none the wiser as to who friggin' Chairface is, and it's absolutely killing me. But the unknown vehicle, we do know what that is, but we don't know if it relates to what we're going to be seeing at NYCC. And there's a lot of stuff that's unconfirmed, is all I'll say on that. But yeah. And I don't know if it's related to what they're talking about in that blurb, because it doesn't. It doesn't relate. So yeah. So I will say that yeah. I know some information, but not all of it. I'll tell you that much. There you go. That's 2025. Now 2026. You were hoping, weren't you, for a Mole Rat Stage 2 to be unlocked on here, but I don't know which one it is. It's one of those ones on the left-hand side, though, in the standard retail waves of 4 SK listing group. So it's either it's not Commander Feral, because we know who that is. The ones I don't know: Deliria, Turmoil, Dr. Street, Randall, Professor, and Stupendous. So I don't know any of them. So it could be one of them. It could be one of a couple of others. Hopefully I'll find out soon, and then I'll unlock it and we can talk about it, and yay, everyone's happy again. Yeah. Hi, it's me, says Chris. Are you actually the Hasbro decider? Just getting your kicks teasing us. Yes, I am. That's what I am, definitely. Hunter says, come on, Hasbro, O-ring line, let's get serious. Do you know what, Hunter? I want so bad for them to reveal or talk about or even like acknowledge the fact of the collab crossover with Transformers. I want so bad to see whatever happened to that Mobat Optimus Prime situation. I really want to know what's going on with that. Bomb Strick, says Renard. Bomb Strike, I think. I don't know if that what that's referring to, Bomb Strick, but I do like that. That's quite funny. That'd be like Bomb Stricken. Gleep needs Gloop, says Blitz. I wonder what Gloop, if they'll do Gloop next for the next HasLab internal code word. They could do. Yeah, and the other thing there, as Bad Wolf Media mentioned there, Hunter, because they've licensed out O-Ring to Super 7, it's sort of like they said they were only going to do it from like like a Transformers collab sort of situation. So it'd be nice to know what's going on there. Really would. I've also changed the background on this listings to make the red a little bit easier to read. So it probably hasn't helped at all, but maybe it has helped a little bit. I don't know. I want to change the graphics completely, but I haven't had enough time, believe it or not, in the last 2 months I've been saying this, to update them in a kind of cool way. But I'll get there. Right then. That is everything, I believe. I think that's everything. Like I said, when we find out what the listings are or the listing is for Mole Rat Stage 2, I'll let you know. Now, I'm not going to go. I'm going to run these through first, actually. Name only reveals. These are the ones that are left. Lifeline, Big Lob, Iceberg, Taurus and Red Dog 2-pack, and Night Viper. I very much expect to see like Lifeline, Night Viper, maybe Taurus and Red Dog, and possibly Big Lob in the lead up to NYCC. But we'll have to see, won't we, what they do. Maybe Big Lob and some of the others, Iceberg maybe even as well. Maybe they get to share. So maybe they get to get saved for sharing at MCM London's panel. Maybe there'll be even more stuff to show off there. Who knows? Well, we'll find out soon, because we're talking about in less than a month, we're going to have more name onlys, more digital renders, and more pre-orders than we can shake a stick at. And more unlocked listings as well. So yay. And then, of course, I've updated the digital vendors as well. It's funny, for a while, I was saying, wasn't I? It's like the Cobra's a bit over, like they're getting overrun here, and now it's switched back again. And we've got 3 Cobra, digital renders and only the 1 Joe one. So Joe team's got to step up. I'm going to say Lifeline tomorrow. That's my guess. What do you guys think? Out of the name only reveals, who do you think we're going to see tomorrow? Is my question to you guys. I'm just going to say I think we'll see Lifeline tomorrow. That's what I think. Might not. Might be something completely different. But I think based on their name only reveals, I think Lifeline's a big shout. Bias reckons Lifeline. Anyone else want to chime in? Well, he can. And I'll see you after a little quick message from our sponsor, and then I'll stay on for a few more questions. So I'm not going anywhere just yet. The deluxe Treasury editions of Battle Action Force are available at Skeletron.com if you're in the US, and TotalToyBooks.com if you're in the UK and Europe. They are stunning, beautiful, and I think today is the last day for voting on getting them awards for Comic Scene 2026. So you can find that all on our socials and what have you. So get in there and vote, please, and thank you. I'm going to be doing an unboxing of this after this episode's done. Yes, Sci-Fi. Not a live one, just one that goes up on vertical videos on all the social platforms. So you'll get to see me bust this guy open and enjoy him very muchly. But yeah, very excited with sci-fi here. And then I've got a backlog that is ridiculous, and more Budo is coming soon, and loads more Monkey Wrench here as well, and Sloice and Doice. They spelt the names wrong though, the OICE, and the Snake Armor. Oh, the snake. Yeah, Snake Armor. Move your body like a snake charmer, or whatever that line is. But yes, I'll definitely be doing sci-fi first, just because it's kind of fresh and cool and new and interesting. Do I manicure? I do not. I did have a shower beforehand. I do not manicure at all. But then again, it's looking a bit blown out. I'm very much a bitey kind of naily person, unfortunately. They're going to give us another surprise and reveal Flash. I really need Flash, says Terry. That would be great, actually. I'd love to see Flash. Flash and Zap will be the 2-pack. Lots of options for GS, says Flaffle. That would be cool. Need more renders from Post 95, says Squishy. That would be dope as well. Renard says, I think Night Viper. People are worried more of what he looks like. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't. Who's people worried? I mean, they are just turning out banger after banger for me. I hope it's Lifeline, says Michelle. Flash and Grand Slam 2-pack reveal, says Rancid. Damn, I missed the whole thing, says Sean. It's no problem. Where's Balloon Bear, says Chris G. Bad Wolf says Iceberg tomorrow. I think they'll save Lifeline for last, like making kids eat veggies before getting dessert. I like that a lot. Bias says Night Viper Thursday, and then we won't get any more renders until NYCC. I'll go Iceberg just because nobody said him yet, says Blitz. I've gone the other direction, and unfortunately someone did say it, but I went up rather than down, so you did say it first. Anyway, I think that's it. What if it's actually airtight because of the mole rat? That'd be crazy good, Rancid. I'd be well into that. They've never done a mainline render that far in advance, and he is in wave 3, which is around September next year, says Bias. I suppose so. Who's Bitey Naily? Nice one. Thanks, Scott. I know the cost basically works out the same, but I'd much rather they give us Flash, Grand Slam, and Zap as solo figures and no more store exclusives for them, says Bad Wolf. The Snake Armor is flawless, Chris. Love mine, says 610. We need a Transformer company to upgrade Snake R, says Flaffle. Rancid, I just got my Snake Armor during the stream. Nice one. In all cap. I should have shouted that, shouldn't I? Flaffle says armor, movable hands, missile blast effect, functioning claw. It's crazy, isn't it? I can't wait to get into that one. Anyway, I'll do sci-fi after this. I do have an intel next, though, for the Patreon crew. And then I will see you guys probably tomorrow, I would imagine, for another friggin' reveal. It looks like they're going to be daily. There was a little bit of a hesitation at one point today where I think a lot of people thought, oh, maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, or maybe they'll spread it out a bit more. But no, it looks like they're going to just do day in, day out. So keep an eye out on all of the blooming things, and I will see you guys tomorrow. And if you're on the Patreon, like I said before, I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Okay. Stay fresh, cheese bags. And as always, after 3, you know what to do. 1, 2, 3. Full force. That was technically 4 and 6, though, wasn't it? But you know what I'm saying.
That's it for this instalment of the Full Force News Burst. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, full force.
Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. And as always, you can keep up with the show after listening by following on all of our social platforms, links in the description. And if you would like to contact the show, you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback or questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full force.